Click the first link in the description for the best Askreddit content. Today I fucked up by hatching a nest of hundreds of baby black widow spiders in my bedroom. This did, essentially, happen today. A couple weeks ago my 5-year-old daughter found a black widow mom and her egg sac. She wanted to look at it, so I very carefully scooped it up into a jar, twisted on the top and went around it with duct tape for good measure. She begged to let them hatch so she could watch them, and this seemed to be decent science homeschooling, after which point I planned to put them in the freezer for a somewhat humane death. What's the harm, I thought. They are sealed up well. Well, guess what, they weren't. The jar I used was plastic and some toys had come in. There were small holes in the bottom and sides, barely visible. Smaller than a hole punch, but plenty big for a baby black widow. So today we're going about our lives. When she notices a tiny spider, I kill it. Then there's another. Then another. I start to think, oh no. I grab the jar to find the egg sac has indeed hatched, with hundreds of tiny little venom weapons. But I see with the relief the duct tape is still there. There's no way they could have gotten out. Till I look at my hand. In the moment I was holding the jar, one crawled onto my hand. At which point I noticed the holes. I screamed, said some words that definitely shouldn't be said in front of a 5-year-old, and wanted to fling away the jar but managed to hold on to it in fear that tossing it would further distribute its murderous contents. Now my child is playing outside while I furiously vacuum and clean and wash every surface. God have mercy. Too long didn't read, thought I was showing my child some cool nature in action, ended up with nature all over my bedroom, where nature means hundreds of baby black widows. Edit, here are pictures of the ones that didn't escape, and my daughter's rendition of them. Further edits. Thank you so much to the kind people who Venmo'd me money for the exterminator. Who am I now definitely going to get to come tomorrow. I'm actually going to return the funds because I was able to get it worked out, but thank you so much. People asking how I could be that stupid. I don't know, frazzled homeschooling, single mom, corona, exhaustion and just poor judgment, I guess. We've raised lots of other insects in jars with no escapees, so I guess I got a little overconfident about the status of jar impenetrability. Yep, I fewed. Even further edit. While most people are upset that I didn't immediately kill it with fire and I stupidly brought it inside, enough people are upset about my inhumane treatment of the spiders that I wanted to comment on it. They were originally on the porch, not far out in nature, and given how dangerous they were, I felt I was making a choice between killing them then and there or later. I don't normally have the ability to drop what I'm doing in a day drive out to the middle of nowhere, far away from other humans, to release dangerous spiders. The observation option, if I had done it correctly, seemed like it would at least offer the opportunity to see them hatch, which does make a pretty educational impact on young kids, I think, more than another YouTube video. I do not torture animals for fun. I'm a vegetarian and hold that life is sacred. Besides mosquitoes and dangerous insects, I don't kill things. I get why compassionate people were upset by this. The spiders are still alive, not frozen, and now, since she's Reddit internet famous, today I will drive to the middle of nowhere and release the mom spider to go about her spider life far away from people. If anyone wants to suggest a name for her, go for it, and she will live in hated/beloved infamy. In the true spirit of the internet, I'm sure this will manage to displease everyone, the people who are upset I did this in the first place and will exterminate the inside ones now, and the substantial number of people who want me to kill it with fire and will think it's crazy to release the mom smile. Sorry about that. I'll post a picture of the release later, if I get a chance, and everyone can sleep with their preference of more soundly, less soundly for knowing she survived. Upon a quick search, I think I've found your solution. Simply release a mixture of praying mantises/mont, alligator lizards, and larger black widows. In a few terrifying horror-filled days, the problem will have rectified itself. Oh, and if that fails, there's always hand grenades and flamethrowers. Not black widows, but your common beige yellow garden spider. About 12 years ago something landed on my face as I was trying to sleep. I brushed it off to realize there was a web attached. After some brief ninja practice, I turned on the light and saw a spider on the ceiling. Just one. So I grab a can of Raid, and I blast the fucker. This was the fuck up. Turns out the spider I could see was named Mom, and she had spread what seemed like 1,000 of her little invisible babies all over my ceiling. That blast of raid killed damn near all of them near the mom, and they all started dangling from the ceiling like so many minuscule marionettes. We sprayed the shit out of the ceiling after that, and spent the remainder of the night in the living room. Nightmare material for my wife, just more work for me. I just couldn't stop reading. Why did I keep reading? Why did I keep reading? Exclamation mark. Feel them. They're on me. Sorry to hear your house burned down. Every female deposit from 200 to 400 eggs in one sack. Did you keep the count? There's only about 100 left in the jar and I've killed 8 in my room so far. FFFFFFFF. This is a straight up horror movie, and I am not particularly afraid of spiders. Today I fucked up by telling my son there was a fictional being called the Pecker Snatcher who steal his junk if he didn't put it away. So my 4-year-old son liked to dance around naked after baths, and while changing him, as cute as he can be, it gets old after a while, and if you've ever had a boy, you know how they can become obsessed with their peckers. Told him one night that if he didn't put it away, the Pecker Snatcher would come and take it. He looked at me with some disbelief and said I was kidding him. I told him it was the truth, and that is what happened to his sister. His eyes got big and he put his pants on. Fast forward a couple days and him and his sister have now elaborated on the story, and the Pecker Snatcher is now a man who has a basket full of peckers that he carries with him, and other elaborations on the story. All was good and well until he explained the entire mythology they created to their grandparents and teachers. Now I'm the weirdo. Parenting is dumb. Too long didn't read. I created a fictional Pecker Snatcher so my son would put his pants on, and he and his sister elaborated on it and told other adults. I haven't heard some say pecker in years. When my son was little he called it his weenie butt. No idea why. My 6-year-old stepdaughter calls her vulva her front butt. I suppose it makes sense. I told mine that a bird might fly in and snatch it. Mostly works, and it's not entirely a lie. As unlikely and improbably as it may be, a bird could fly in and take a bite. I told my son that a rooster was called a cock in a picture book. He thought I was talking about the truck the rooster was on. Definitely was not a fun time for a while when we were out in public and he screamed cock constantly. My nephew has a hard time saying truck, and he loves trucks. When he sees them outside he screams fuck cckkkk. Well, my kids are in bed now, so I have time to offer you my response. 46M, my son is also 4, just started JK, and he has not paid particular attention to his penis since forever. Since school started he's been doing some weird stuff that I will attribute to school jitters working themselves out of his system. He started humming a song the other night, probably Thursday or Friday, no words, just a tune. I asked him at shower time what he was singing. He said nonchalantly my penis song. I was like, okay, can I hear the words? I love my penis, 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 penny, penny, penis, 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 this is my penis, penny, penny, penny eyes. He decided to regale my in-law and the entire family this morning during our monthly Zoom call. My wife was crawling at /up/ the walls / clawing at the wall. Edit, thanks everyone and the awards. Finally getting around to changing the misspelled words. Just wait till he's a teenager and brings a girlfriend over. You can tell the story and guess who'll be embarrassed then? Edit, holy guacamole, this struck a nerve. My kids are grown and married now, but they learned early on that just as children embarrass their parents, ultimately the tables are turned. Our son is embarrassment proof. Then it's gonna be dad telling him that the Pecker Snatcher is coming for any little boys who are getting it out without a condom on it. Today I fucked up by convincing my girlfriend she needed to use a dildo before having sex with me. Since my last post blew up, I thought I'd share another one of my sexual encounters for your amusement. As usual, this was not today. I was 17, So this was many years ago now. Also, I only take partial responsibility. She was the one that fucked up really. As horrific as this story may sound, the girl in question later went on to have a kid with me, and we were together for a long time, so maybe you could call the trauma a bonding experience. I was 17 years old. Very inexperienced at sex. I had no idea what I was doing, to be honest. I had probably had sex 3 or 4 times in my life before this situation. Anyway, met a girl from Scotland, she was 17 and a virgin. Got all loved up, went on a couple of dates, was really getting the feels for her. I was an extremely horny 17-year-old, and when we ended up back at her place while her mother was out, my teenage brain just assumed we have to have sex, right? No way, we are not having sex right now. My teenage dick very much agreed with my brain. Things got hot and heavy, couldn't keep our hands off each other, clothes being thrown everywhere. But when it came to the actual deed, I couldn't get it done. Couldn't get it in. She instantly changed the mood and started stressing out, which in turn stressed me out. There was a lot of poking and bumping and awkwardness until she put her knickers back on. I blamed myself, got a bit huffy and went home to sulk. In hindsight, I was shit at foreplay and needed to take a lot more time with what I was doing, and had stressed her out to the point she couldn't go through with it. But I was 17, and inexperienced. Next day, I'm chilling with my mates and tell them the story. I share my frustration, and one of them, who in reality was a bullshitting virgin himself, told me exactly what I wanted to hear. He said, "Man, your dick must be too big in it, she couldn't take your dick, she needs to work up to your size." What I do is I get dildos of multiple sizes and break the girls in with those until they can handle my meat stick. Yes, we were exactly like the in-betweeners. I was a mix of Simon and Neil, and my mate was 100% Jay. We were too chavvy to have a will. Armed with the confidence-boosting theory that my penis was too big, I phoned my girlfriend, explained that I was sorry and that I didn't realize that my cock was too big for her. Thinking back on this, it is so cringe. I said I would bring some toys over to resolve the problem. She seems relieved that she wasn't the problem and excited that she was getting sex toys. So the following day, I head to town with the embarrassing task of buying dildos in Ann Summers. This would be something I would never have the bottle to do, but fueled by full balls, I grab the number 8 bus to town. I get off the bus and strut towards the sex toy shop, imaginary King Kong dick swinging between my legs. Knowing for sure I'd be getting laid later, and that I definitely get the job done this time around. Then my mobile rings. It was the cool Morpheus Motorola Matrix flip phone, if you will remember those. The future mother of my child is crying down the phone in hysterics, yelping in pain, and telling me I needed to come over quick. Like the hero that I am, I ran at speed towards her place. She let me in and ushered me into the bedroom. She was sobbing, and was struggling to get her words out. I finally calmed her down long enough for her to explain the problem. She said that she didn't think I'd bring any dildos and didn't want to mess up sex again. So, she thought she'd practice with a Dove deodorant stick. My mind blown. You used a stick of deodorant? You fucked yourself with a Dove deodorant? I started laughing. I couldn't stop myself, but her anger snapped me out of it. She then handed me the stick with no cap on it. I immediately think she's used it without the cap, and of course it's stingy as fuck down there. Ask her why on earth she didn't leave the fucking lid on. She started crying and said I fucking did. The cap's still in me. Balls. Needless to say, she wouldn't go to the hospital. She was mortified. She wanted me to have a go at fishing it out. She had tried herself and pushed it deeper. So there I was, a 17-year-old boy, laying on a bed with a girl on her back, legs akimbo in the air. Normally a great situation, but not like this. I had a flashlight in my mouth trying to look up inside a vagina, at first using my fingers but with no joy. I dread to think what my search history would have been like had smartphones existed. Okay Google, how do I fish out a deodorant cap from a vagina? How deep is the cervix? I eventually had to use 2 toothbrushes to form a kind of chopstick tweezing device. It was very intense. I felt like the world's shittest gynecologist. The cap was way up in there. It was touch and go. I gave up a few times and tried to get her to go to A&E, but in the end, persistence prevailed and I retrieved the cap. We were so fucking relieved. It was a great moment. We didn't have sex that night, predictably predictably, nor the night after, she was still too sore. But the following weekend we got that shit done. Best 6 minutes of sex I had ever had up until that point. Wish I could say we lived happily ever after, but I can't. She eventually got me in debt, shagged my mate, and stole my cat, my daughter and my house. But for a time we were happy. Thank you for reading. TL Doctor, first sexual experience with my future wife was fishing out a deodorant cap from her nether region using toothbrushes. Okay, see, this is why sex ed is important. We were too chavvy to have a will. As a recovering chav, I absolutely refused to have a live, laugh, love sticker on my wall in case I relapse. This made me snort. The rest made me wheeze laugh. Please keep posting your sexcapades. Bit sus, raised eyebrow. Chavs don't wheeze. Sorry, inside joke for my mate who plays Among Us. She eventually got me in debt, shagged my mate, and stole my cat, my daughter and my house. We've all been there too. I feel like the real today I fucked up is in this detail here. Girl sobbing after long straining process of removing the deodorant cap. 17-year-old guy, so, you still in the mood? This reads like a plotline they rejected for the in-betweeners because it was too ridiculous. Who really needed a briefcase wanker to intervene?